Well, hello and welcome to Old People This Week. I am Jeff, and that scallywag there, the cue ball with hair, that's Mike.
Yeah, they call me the beauty, and that's the beast.
Mike, better known as,
Don't go there. Don't go
better
there.
known as Whiz Bang. I'm just, and in honor of Mike being here because there was a question of whether or not he's going to make it today. I'm going to play a little song. Come on, Mike.
No, no. You, you know white guys have no rhythm. Bobbing your head does not constitute dancing.
Yeah, it does. All right. Old People This Week is for smart, mentally agile people, 60 years or over. If you're under 60 and you stumbled in here, unless you stumbled in here to see Whiz Bang, this place is not for you.
That's
But if
frightening.
you're here to get knowledge, to get ready for the weekend, to sound smart with your friends when you're out playing pickleball or on the golf course or at the gym, then this is the place for you. And of course, by the way, if you're going to be at happy hour, you want to sound smart.
Which is where we do our best work.
All of our best
Our,
work.
our work.
Let me see here. I'm going to go to my little files and see what else is going on here. Yeah, I bet you liked that song, Mike, did you?
That was horrible. That wasn't a song. That was noise.
Salt and pepper.
That was just patterned noise.
Oh, they're the brilliant group. All right, we'll get into it. Things I'm pissed off about always starts off the podcast. And this I got a lot to be pissed off about. You sent me this article that was basically, it was entitled Facts Boomers Learned in School But Were Dead Wrong.
Yeah.
Now, if you get the implication of that, and before I even read all these things, they're saying we learned them in school and we were wrong. Meaning we didn't come up with them. We're not responsible for them. We were taught them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was actually the generation before the boomers who were the idiots, who were, I don't even know what they called those generations. They didn't have a name for generations back then. They were just,
Yeah, or whoever selected the curriculum and approved the curriculum.
Yeah.
Who knows?
so that's
Yeah.
what we learned. So one of them was that we believed that fats were enemy. We never eat any fats. And this person says, well, boomers are wrong. There's some saturated fats that are essential for good health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine they are. And by the way, I've tried all of them.
Yeah. It shows.
The hell, who's talking there, chipmunk?
Hey, don't get on my chins now. This is
God,
genetic
fat in there. It's
dominance.
been fat in there since 1935.
I told you before, this is my survival package.
Yeah, yeah, is that right?
Yeah, I could be lost in the woods for a month and come out looking pretty darn good.
Right, see how
Just
healthy
on
it's
body fat.
And then they said the boomers believe that stepping on a rusty nail causes tetanitis. Well, it does, dumbass. You go step on a nail and tell me what happens. And if it doesn't cause tetanitis, I'll tell you what it causes. It causes extreme pain.
Extreme pain.
You'll go to the hospital either way, so don't worry about it, idiot. It says that boomers believe that the spelling is always I before E except after C. And then this person says, but it's only true 75% of the time. But it was never, that's not the full phrase. It was I before E except after C, as in neighbors and
Some
way.
way.
That's right.
And sometimes, yeah.
So that's the other 25%, so shut up. don't know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. It says here that boomers believed that boys are better than math. That's not true. I never was any good at math, and I never believed I was.
No, I was horrible at math.
There was, 6-year-old girls that were better at math than I was when I was a, grown man. It says that we boomers believe that littering is A-okay. Well, we
Bullshit.
don't. We never believe that littering
That's-
is okay.
That's never been
No,
okay.
my parents maybe would drive down the street and throw crap out of the car, but boomers, not us. Boomers believe that smoking and drinking is okay during pregnancy. Well,
good.
there are stories there. When I was growing up in Ohio, I certainly saw a few pregnant women pounding down a few drinks, and I did see some pregnant women smoking cigarettes back then.
Those probably those Bill Hillies who came up from Kentucky or wherever they came
It was
up
always
from.
the Bill Hillies. I'll tell you about my mom. My mom was a school teacher, and she took very great pride in telling her friends in front of me. She would say, "I only gained 11 pounds when I was pregnant with him." And I said to her, "What?" I go, "Why? Why?" First of all, I didn't know what it meant. Whether 11 pounds was good or bad when you're little. But I finally figured out it wasn't too good if she only gained 11 pounds, and I probably weighed 4 or 5 of those. I said, "Why do you brag that you only gained 11 pounds?" She goes, "Well, I had to keep working, so I hid that I was pregnant, basically."
Great.
Oh man,
That explains why you lived on a respirator for the first 4 weeks in the hospital.
explains why I'm so angry all the time. I tell her, "You made me this way." And the last thing it says is that this article, this writer said, boomers believe that convenience foods are healthy.
Oh God.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. When I was little in Ohio, there was no convenience stores. There was no 7-Elevens. There's no nothing like that. There was zero. You didn't go to convenience stores for anything.
Yeah.
This guy didn't.
Remember, I was born and raised on a ranch in the wilderness, and we shot and ate our own
Yeah.
food, raised our own, raised our own cattle, had our own milk and cheese and bread, and everything was
What did you
homemade.
eat, shoot, and eat?
Elk, deer,
Venison.
venison, absolutely.
Who had to pull the skin off
Quail,
of those things, like I've seen in movies?
quail, pheasant,
Whose
everything.
job was it to pull the skin off of some dead elk?
Well, you don't pull it off. You use a skinning knife and take it off. There's a layer of fat between the skin and the carcass, and it just peels right
Did you
down.
have to do that?
Well, I've done it. I didn't have to do it, but I've done it.
Well, who did it at your house then? Somebody had to do it if your guys were going to eat.
Well, between my two brothers and me, and my father and my uncle, and we had some hired help on the ranch, and a lot of those guys pitched
Yeah, you
in.
were like Jessica Alba.
So
You
yeah.
have hired help all around to help you skin. Go over there and skin that elk for me, you peon. I'm not doing it. All right. Remember Ray Gunn, that totally inept Australian
Yeah,
breakdancer?
yeah, the woman who was having a seizure instead of breakdancing.
She was the worst dancer I've ever seen. I could do better than that, and that's saying a lot. She went number one today in the world by the sports governing body. The World Dance Sport Federation released its world ranking list, saying in a statement that Gunn, her name is Rachel Gunn in real life, she secured the top spot after she came in first place in the 2023 Oceania Continental Championships, which took place, by the way, before the Olympics. So she hadn't yet had a chance to embarrass herself enough to lose her number one ranking.
This was a breakdancing competition.
Yeah,
They ranked her number one.
in the world.
Jesus.
The ranking puzzled many people, some of who took to social media to point out that the 37-year-old B-girl who performs as Ray Gunn did not receive a single point from the Olympic judges.
Yeah, it just invalidates the whole sport. It should never be. It should never appear in the Olympics again.
Yeah,
That's
she's terrible.
nonsense.
She's
That's
terrible.
nonsense.
They're not. I already read that they're not bringing it back for the L.A.
Good,
Olympics. That's
please.
stupid. Pat Sajak finally had the decency to quit that show after 40 years. Thank you,
Walk
Pat.
away. Yeah.
He walked away. And the Wheel of Fortune has a new host, the one, the only Ryan Seacrest. And it started this past Monday.
Yeah. Did you see him?
No, it was just no. I don't like Wheel of Fortune. I think it's for dolts. I mean, you're spinning a thing and then guessing on that. It's just it's. I like Jeopardy. I think Jeopardy
love Jeopardy.
challenges you, but
Yeah.
this Wheel of Fortune, I don't think so. So he's teaming up with Vanna White. You want to guess how old Vanna White is, by the way?
You got to be 60s.
67.
Yeah.
She's been turning letters on the show since 1983.
Can you imagine? And when she first came on, Sajak didn't like her.
Why?
We just didn't like her.
Yeah.
He didn't think she was the right person.
I saw her, Ann Sajak, in a bar in the mid '80s in Los Angeles on Cahuenga Boulevard.
Yeah.
Not the Cahuenga in Hollywood, but where Cahuenga goes through that pass between the city and over by into Universal City, and there was a bar there, and they must have just got done work, and I saw them. And that time, Vanna was probably 25. She was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you'll get to meet her because she comes out here a lot.
Oh, she
Has
does?
she has a place out here, and her best friend is Sandy Newton,
Oh, that's
who
cool.
did, yeah, who did
Yeah, we
our
should,
interview.
maybe we can, Sandy is probably too embarrassed to introduce us to Vanna White
Nah,
if
she
we see
loves
her at the
us. She
bar.
loves us.
So they said to, what's Secret's spin on taking over for longtime host Pat Sajak? Ryan says, don't mess with what's been working for decades. I think just being there is so different, right? I mean, Pat and Vanna have been on the screens and in people's living rooms for so many years, which is a blessing. And just walking out with Vanna is enough of a change for this show at the beginning. It's not broken, so let's not fix it. Ryan's basically saying,
Yeah,
I'm coming in there, I'm just stepping in there. You spin that wheel, I'll say whatever I got to say, and just hand me that check.
yeah, and he did it, and that's about what he did. It was pretty uneventful.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
mean, you know,
It doesn't take a huge personality to do that. It takes someone actually like a Sajak who has a
yeah,
Melba Toast personality just to stand there and do that.
yeah,
Ay, ay, ay. Well, anyway, I knew Seacrest at E Entertainment Television. I'll run through this story quickly. But in 2006, he was already doing Idol. He was a big shot. And he had his radio show, which made him millions of dollars. And uh, and plus, he was getting a buku bucks from Idol. But E Entertainment Television wanted to hire Ryan to be the host of E News and to do the live at the red carpet show. So
yeah,
we backed up the Brinks truck to his house, and he is an interesting guy. He's a gourmand. He likes to go to restaurants, and when he goes to restaurants, he collects the menus and has the chefs sign them, and he hangs them in his house.
oh,
And he belongs to a place up in Napa Valley which basically is a private vineyard and Epicurean restaurant,
yeah.
gourmet restaurant,
It's called the Reserve.
the Reserve.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
built.
and they actually grow wine that is labeled a Seacrest brand out of there.
Yeah, yeah. It's founded by Bill Harlan,
God, he makes so much
Harlan
money though.
Estates. Yeah,
He makes a ton of money. I was with him one time. He called me up and he said, "Hey, come on over." He goes, "I'm in Westwood." I was living in Westwood at the time. And he goes, "I'm at Wally's Wines, and I'm going to pick out some wines." So I met him at Wally's Wines, and he's walking through with his BlackBerry, like this, looking at the BlackBerry and then looking at the wines with a sommelier who worked there. And they're picking out really expensive wines, like $1,500 a bottle of wine. And I said, what are you doing? What is this for? He said, well, they just gave me a raise at Fox, a new 3-year contract to do Idol at the time.
oh
He
wow,
goes, so I'm buying all these wines for his name was Nigel something, who was like the executive producer, creator of the show. And he
yeah,
was going to have it stocked as a surprise in Nigel's wine cellar at Nigel's home.
oh
So
nice.
he was buying all this wine for that, and I said, "Well, what are they paying you?" And he goes, "Well, my new contract is 15 million a year for 3 years, on top of what he was making from Eve with us, and on top of what he was rolling in the dough from money that he was making at doing that radio show, which was a
Wow.
cash cow." And he was
Wall,
probably 30 then.
yeah, Wally's, by the way, was a very cool wine shop.
What?
We used to go there when we lived in Century City. I
They,
loved
they
Wally's.
they closed it down now.
Yeah,
They moved it. They moved it to Beverly Hills, actually, on Wilshire Boulevard.
yeah,
And they used to have a little sandwich part of it. You could go into Wally's and order sandwiches. Oh, they were good.
yeah.
All right. You sent me this only in show business kind of story that I loved. Anna Sorokin will perform with an ankle monitor on Dancing with the Stars.
You go get him, girl.
At first, I didn't know what the hell this was, what you were talking about, and who Anna Sorokin was. And then I remembered I'd actually seen the series on her on Netflix a few years ago called Inventing Anna.
Yeah,
She pretended to be a German heiress with a trust fund,
yeah,
and and she trying to make her way through New York society and get to the top of it, and also buy herself. I can't remember the business. It was like either a restaurant or some kind of a clothing business. She was trying to buy a business.
yeah,
But the thing about her was, and the thing that was unlikable about her was, is that people that she stole money from weren't just rich or corporate people. She stole money from her friends.
yeah.
Yeah. She would go on these elaborate trips with her friends and then slip out and they would get stuck paying for it. And these people weren't wealthy or anything. They were just normal people. And they would get stuck with the bill and then they eventually went to the cops and that's how they got her.
Yeah, she's a real piece of work.
Real piece of work.
But hey, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
So who better to put on a dance show?
Well, she was convicted in 2019. She served 2 years in prison, and she's in the middle of this 18 months of extra penalty because she overstayed her visa. So she did the 2 years for the financial crimes. Then the Department of Homeland Security or somebody got her because she overstayed her visa.
Yeah,
So there's a picture of her that I'll try to get here, a press photo from Dancing with the Stars that shows her, and you can see that she's wearing her court-ordered ankle bracelet.
supervised release.
You're not wearing your ankle bracelet anymore, are you?
No, I cut it off. When I moved, I just cut it off. They don't know
You're,
where I am.
you've had that crime of wearing that mullet that you used to have. That was a crime.
You'd be very, very surprised at how
See, I have
long
the
my hair was.
anti-mullet. There's nothing in the back.
No, there's nothing anywhere.
Party up front.
Whatever that is standing up top.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Party up front. Nothing in the back. No, nothing going on in back.
You should never get around an open flame with that hairdo.
Yeah, I can't lose this. Once it's gone, it's never coming back. You watched The Bachelorette this season, didn't you?
Oh God, what a shit show.
So I'm going to recap what I wrote down here, and then you tell me if it's happened or not. So the woman's name was Jen Tran,
Yeah.
and it came down at the very end to two guys, Marcus and Devin. Both of them shared their traumatic childhood experiences with her on supposedly the second to last episode. Marcus was more reserved, which made any steps towards love feel authentic. But Devin was a fan favorite, a buoyant personality who seemed genuinely enamored with Jenny Tran. It was almost shocking how unguarded he was with his feeling. The only question seemed to be whether Tran would choose the exuberant Devin, admittedly less conventionally attractive than some of the other men, or the more available Marcus. It was supposed to be the source of suspense. Midway through the finale, Jen had a difficult conversation with Marcus in which it became clear he would never get there emotionally, so she chose to end that relationship. That meant that Devin, who appeared to be the right pick, the guy who was actually there for the right reasons, the one who was genuinely into her, was the only guy left. The show was ready to, say the winner is Devin.
Yeah.
And
The de facto winner.
in Hawaii, after breaking up with Marcus, Jen told Jesse she planned to ask Devin to marry her. It seemed that she was on the verge of her happy ending. But it didn't happen, did it?
Nah, no. He broke up with her.
Yeah, but they didn't. So rather than roll the proposal footage, producers cut in with host Jesse Palmer, and it was quickly clear that between the moment of triumph and the taping of the last episode, something had gone terribly wrong.
Yeah.
There was a break from the norm when, even if a couple has broken up since the season wrapped, the show allows the proposal to unfold before breaking the bad news to the audience. But over the next hour, they just exploited the fact that Devin basically dumped her ass.
Yeah. He told her he didn't really care for her after all, and he wasn't in the mood. And actually, when he he called her and in a 15-minute phone call, and said, basically, I'm dumping you. I don't want to go forward. And he said, no, I don't want to talk about it anymore until the final episode when I see you in person.
And did he? Or has that final episode happened yet?
Yeah, yeah, he came on,
And
and
what'd
it
he
was
say?
just the him and hawing and the usual bullshit. I mean, it was the one interesting thing though. One of the women named Maria from Alaska. I mean, great looking, great body, and no bullshit all the way through. And it turns out he was fascinated with her, so so he'd been following her, and and she was one of the ones who had been selected to be the finalist instead of Jen Tran.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he basically decided that he was going to pursue the Alaskan girl, not
Well,
Jen.
he was just more interested in her than in Jen.
These guys are all
Yeah.
idiots.
Yeah.
There's a woman by the name of Lindsay. By the way, she spells Lindsay, Lynzi.
Of course.
Lindsay Judish, Judish, had decorated nearly every corner of her New York home, from the ceiling of her dining room to the tiny crow's nest on her top floor. She's decorated every inch of this place. And then all that was left to spruce up was the inside of her refrigerator. So Judas started fridge-scaping, or decorating the inside of a fridge like it's any other room in a home. The trend has alternately delighted and enraged TikTok viewers, who either swoon over the romantic themes at 35 degrees or fume at the apparent inanity of curating a space most people will never see.
Including you who own the refrigerator. You open it, you grab something, you close it again. Good
Well, that's the
Lord.
thing. I'm putting pictures up here that you'll see what one of her refrigerating freescapings look like, fridgescaping look like, and it is nutty. It's got it involves thoughtfully arranged produce, such as a bouquet of asparagus in a vase, or charming storage containers like pink glass pitchers and antique ceramic butter dishes. Anything that will beautify your food, she said.
Oh boy, you want to go have a meal at her place?
She said recently she started theming her fridgescapes around properties like Bridgerton, or Fridgerton as she calls it, swapping out condiments and unsightly cartons for fridge-safe decor like picture frames and figurines.
And I'll bet you she owns about 12 cats.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right. She's got to be a cat owner. She calls people get so pissed off at her that she said, "I caused unintentional rage bait," meaning her refrigerators are bait for people to get so mad at, and they just rip out at her.
Oh my God.
So
Maybe she should go into the college dorm room decorating business.
well, that's what this is. The theme of this whole thing is that how people are crazy, whether it's doom piles or dorm rooms or fridgescaping. People. It's all really driven by social media.
Yeah, well, sure.
Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. I mean, she's only really doing it, like you say. She's not doing it for herself, or you don't even get food. You get food out of there. She's doing it so she can post on all. She's on Instagram. She's on everything, and it's a way for her to, I guess get people to sign up and eventually get subscribers and make some dough on it.
Friends. She's finding friends.
Maybe we should do something like that, Mike, and skip this podcast. Maybe we'll decorate our bathrooms up or something.
No, let's not. Let's not.
I'm not much of an interior designer, as you can see behind me. I'm just throwing pictures up on the wall.
It looks pretty neatly arranged. It looks like there's some method to the near madness.
There's my AD, what is it called again?
HD.
ADHD. Hard, high def? No. All right. Anyways, more about Costco, by the way. Costco is
Wasn't that a great article?
This was a good article. The gist of it is that it's about the psychology, or actually how Costco has become part of our psyche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've hacked our preferences.
Well, like we've said before, I'm a new member. I went 70 years of my life without ever being a part of Costco. Now I'm a proud Costco card owner. Been there a bunch of times, bought things that I don't need. Told you about I never wanted to have, and rebuffed my wife when she talked about getting an electric toothbrush. And guess what? We go to Costco once and come home with electric toothbrushes. And this writer described a Costco that he saw in Anchorage, Alaska. He said the parking lot full of jacked up, thooled out 4x4s on studded tires and mobile homes that look more like mobile fortresses has a bit of an edge for a grocery store. There's something edgy about the inventory too. Neoprene survival suits, meat grinders, and gun safes.
Yeah.
And he met some girl inside there who was a teenager who was pushing a cart, and inside the cart were a pair of whole pigs at 45 pounds each. And did you read this thing? Do you think?
Yeah.
Did you think that there was actual live pigs and they're in there oinking and stuff?
Well, that was a question I had. I mean, I can't imagine they would have been butchered hogs, whole hogs. So maybe in Alaska they do have livestock. I mean, one of the points in the article was about how regionally or locally specific some of the shops are oriented. You know, like the ones overseas, and they're providing, the shops in Asia, for instance, are giving them clues as to what to stock in stores in America now that have high concentration of Asian populations.
Yeah.
So it's,
Your Korean dude doesn't in Seoul, Korea, doesn't want a $5.99 chicken. He probably wants
chicken.
Yeah, he goes, what's chicken? He wants a $5.99 quail or whatever they eat over there.
Well, he wants a jar of Kung Pao sauce,
sauce.
and he's going to cook it differently.
Yeah. So in 2019, 1/4 of U.S. consumers shopped at Costco. Today, it's nearly a third of all consumers. Costco's the third largest retailer in the world, behind only Amazon and Walmart. Fewer companies have greater influence over what we eat or wear or fuel our cars with or use for personal hygiene. Costco dominates multiple categories of the food supply: beef, poultry, and organic produce, and even fine wines from Bordeaux, which it sells more of than any retailer in the world.
In the world, yeah. Their wine department's terrific.
It is the arbiter of survival for millions of producers, including more than 1 million cashew farmers in Africa alone. Costco sells half the world's cashews. Jesus.
It's incredible, yeah.
Its private label, Kirkland, generates more revenue than Nike and Coca-Cola. All right, so here's the story, and I'll go through it quickly, because I never knew this, and then I started going on this rabbit hole. Costco was founded by a guy named Saul Price, S-O-L Price. He was born in New York in 1906, and then he moved to San Diego with his family, goes to school at SC, Southern California, and then goes back to San Diego after he graduates. Down there, he gets this idea by the time, so he has a full life. By the time he's in his 40s, he's a businessman, entrepreneur. He gets this idea. He begins converting empty San Diego warehouses into members-only bazaars where for a small fee, shoppers could get everything from hosiery to cigarettes at wholesale prices. The key to the business that he discovered then was simple: keep members renewing year after year.
Yeah.
So by the 80s, he's turned FedMart into Costco, and the first superstore was up in Washington State. And the business model is simple: you gotta give the customer enough goods at a low enough price that they'll renew their membership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether they buy anything or not.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
It's found income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The membership fees, last quarter, the membership fees accounted for $1.12 billion, which is 2/3 of their total net revenue.
Yeah.
The dependence is mutual then, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
They open about 30 new warehouses a year with a growing number abroad. Overseas expansion is where the growth is coming, said Susan Schwartz. Right now they've got 7 warehouses in China, but they could have 150. They got them in China, they got them in South Korea and Australia, everywhere. All right, we get to that portion of our wonderful podcast where we're going to talk about our friends in Florida. We're always up to some nasty thing. This one, I started researching, and I didn't even have to find one story. All I'm going to do is read to you the headlines of some recent stories, and that's enough. They keep coming. They're never.
They keep coming. I'd just like to live in a state where they have a bounty on man-eating snakes, and you get an award for bringing in the most man-eating snakes.
That's son. What do you want to do when you grow up?
Yeah. I want to move to Florida and be a snake hunter.
Is it dead
Big
or alive?
Money. It didn't say. Yeah, I'm not sure what you do with them. Like that one guy, what was the record that guy caught? It was 8 feet 6 inches long. Make a lot of cowboy boots out of that.
Remember that article that we did a story on a couple months ago about that giant snake over in the Philippines or something that ate that whole woman? It's horrible.
Yeah, swallowed her
whole. She had to
whole.
be alive when she started going in there. First story. Naked man humps tree, punches deputy. Florida man with state tattooed on his head calls 911 for ride home. Now, I'm showing the picture of the man right here, and as you can see, there is a tattoo of the state of Florida right between his eyes. So he doesn't do it on his hand or on his shoulder or on his back or something. He puts the stupid tattoo of Florida right between his eyes. And then on top of it, he gets hammered or whatever, and he calls 911 and asks them for a ride home. Florida man breaks into home, sucks on sleeping man's toes. So you go to sleep in Florida, and you wake up, and there's some fool at the end of the bed sucking on your toes.
Lock your doors.
All right. Here's the next one. Florida man sexually assaults a stuffed Olaf doll at Target. You know who Olaf is? Olaf? He's in the movie.
I have no idea. No.
Oh my God, what a fool I am. What's the name of that super popular movie that's set in there? Elsa is in it and singing all the huge hit.
Frozen?
Either the
Disney
hero in it or he's the stupid looking snowman. And I think he's a snowman. Well, anyways, this guy sexually assaulted his doll in Target. Not safe in your room in bed. Looks like he's trying to suck your toes.
No.
Not safe at Target.
You can't go to Target. You can't go to sleep.
And I'll tell you where you can't go. Wait till this next story. Florida man masturbates while waiting at the Social Security office. Now, if I'm looking over and this guy is
Oh, God.
working on himself at the Social Security office, I'm going to send him up to New York to that Love Pod hotel.
Yeah. Get in touch with yourself, buddy. Of course, those 8-hour waits at any government office, you might be tempted.
I went to a Social Security office out here near us in a small town, and it was just bureaucratic and funky, and there was a guard at the front, and you got in there, and it was like, you're looking around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's going to
masturbate next?
Run fleeing from the place, which I did, by the way. I canceled the appointment. I walked out. I said thank you to the guard. Got my card. I decided I don't care. I'm never going back. I'll figure out how to do this online. All right.
Yeah. My wife just went to the DMV.
She did?
And just came home shaking her head.
When I turned 70, it's mandatory in the state of California. When you turn 70, you got to go back and take the test, not the physical driving test, but you have to take that written test. And I freaked out about it, and I figured out how to take it online. I didn't, this is a longer story, but I didn't realize, I thought I was taking practice tests online. And I got there and I walked in, made my way to the front, and I handed the woman my paperwork, and I said, I'm here to take the test. She goes, oh, our records say you already took it, congratulations.
Yeah, because if you get the wrong answer, it gives you another chance. Go back, try again.
But they evidently they don't need to have a proctor. You can do what you want. You can take the answers over. And anyways, that's how I got my driver's license. So it wasn't a terrible hassle. All right, the last story here, where we sign off, and Mike goes to the Social Security office to meet his next date. Naked Florida man drinks 2 liters of vodka, which, by the way, is not easy to do without passing out. He burns his house down by baking cookies on a George Foreman grill. So the dude drinks 2 liters of vodka. And then he's so shit-faced, he goes and he tries to make cookies on his George Foreman grill, which is not a big thing. George Foreman grills aren't big. And by the way, I thought they closed over.
No,
they weren't exposed. But anyway, he tries to make cookies, somehow starts a fire, burns his house down. Now, I could go on all day with these headlines. There's 1,000 of them.
No.
We're going to sign off now by first saying, please subscribe. If you subscribe, Mike there will come over and either sing you a rap song as Whiz Bang, or he will give you a shiatsu massage. And his fingers, remember, are trained from massaging horses when he was young. And if you don't want to see us on YouTube, if you're tired of looking at our gorgeous faces, you can go check us out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Then you can just hear our golden tones. You don't have to look at our faces. If you want to send us an email, if you're going to send us an answer to that quiz I gave before, or if you just want to talk to us and give us a comment, talk about Mike's hair, or anything you want to talk about, we're here. I had my haircut today, by the way. 11 o'clock today.
I can't tell.
Number 1 on the side.
I cannot tell. I'm scared when I see that.
Where was I now? Subscribe, send us an email. And check out our Substack at 52test.substack.com. Last week we talked about things you should eat, your diet, and this week I can't remember what it is, but we're going to give you some advice about something, and if you take the advice, you'll be a better human being. And that's it.
Remember, if you subscribe, then you make your way to the Southern California desert community where we live. You will be treated to a bottom shelf martini or a bottom shelf glass of an unpronounceable red wine.
Before we go, I'm going to close off with a little more of Whiz Bang's song that he loves.
No, that's frightening. Adios. Goodbye.
All right, see you, Mike.